Over the last few years, an industry work group, Drilling and Wells Interoperability Standards, has worked to enable open and interoperable communication between key components in oil and gas well construction. Here at the IADC headquarters in Houston, the work group held a work session gathering key stakeholders from throughout the industry to talk about what's been done, what needs to be done, and the pathways to getting there. This work session brought together drilling contractors, operators, service companies, and other key stakeholders to discuss their current progress on incorporating interoperability into their processes and systems. It's the second such work session the group has held since its founding. The previous came in 2019. Daryl Fett, Manager of Research, Drilling and Completions at TotalEnergies E&P Research and Technologies, and one of the leaders of the DWIS group, described this session as a follow-up from that 2019 meeting.
Now we're having this second workshop to really just see where we're at on the curve, and where are we on the right pathway, the right trajectory, and the landscape is it's constantly changing, and I think in a good way, meaning that the industry is moving more towards automation and digital solutions. It's what the customers, the end users are wanting and participating in, and even doing some of their own internal solutions for it. So,
among other things, participants at the work session examined the interface of interoperability standards with automated systems. They also looked into some of the challenges to industry adoption of interoperable systems at scale. Chief among these challenges is the proprietary culture surrounding data management within the industry. Participants agreed that interoperability will require some level of openness in sharing data between stakeholders, and the session looked at the proverbial lines in the sand with regards to inputting data into third-party systems. Todd Fox, Director of Global Accounts at Helmerich & Payne, acknowledged that drilling contractors and operators will continue to protect their intellectual property. However, he said identifying potential areas where stakeholders can be more open with their data will be critical to the success of interoperability and the DWIS group's efforts.
All of us in the room have things that are sacred cows that we can't share, and it's what sets us apart from our competition. And we realize that the other service providers are in the same situation, but there's also a high amount of information sharing that is not intellectual property, and it's not something that we have to keep secret from each other. We have to have some of it in order to execute. For example, what motor's in the hole, the survey information, and fluid weight and viscosity. That information is paramount to all of our success, and so we need to share that information together. And I think that's where we have to find middle ground and then work together on how we execute.
Matthew Forshaw, Business Development Manager, Digital and Automation at Baker Hughes, said that interoperability standards do not eliminate the competitive edge companies gain from developing and marketing proprietary systems. Rather, he said that these standards can enable greater innovation by allowing companies to focus on enhancing their offerings. He illustrated this in a hypothetical example of ROP optimization software.
Today, what we would be doing is we'd be spending 50% of the time developing the functionality that's the science of how we actually optimize rate of penetration, and we'd be spending arbitrarily 50% of the effort developing just the simple API, so the way that our application perhaps talks to the drilling control system. Whereas if we have a standard, suddenly we then free up all of that 50% that was previously dedicated to just doing, effectively developing a translator block to actually focus on the science. And the science is where we get the performance. The science is where we drive down that well construction capex. We drill faster, and that's what we want. That's where we make a bottom line difference to the industry.
The work group is going to gather feedback taken from this 2-day work session and put it together in a report that will be made publicly available by the end of the year. For more information on DWIS and what it's doing, you can check out their website seen here on the screen. For Drilling Contractor, this is Stephen Whitfield. Thank you for watching.